Hello everyone, welcome in another episode of Transport Fever 2, where I'm having fun with virtual trains, trucks, planes, ships, and try to not go bankrupt in the process. Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to remind you to hit that subscribe button and use the bell to stay up to date with my latest content. So, we are back in third episode of Transport Fever 2, Series 2. Where we are going to try to build somewhat working transport industry around the map that was randomly generated by the game. So far it's going pretty well. I have to admit that I'm making profit on every single line that we've established so far, which is very good. And we shall continue in today's episode to further expand our business. I'm hoping to establish another railroad English please. Anyway, I need to work on my pronunciation. Anyway, we need to establish another connection between perhaps two towns and maybe start transporting some passengers. I will explain everything later when we get into the game finally. You should probably hear the game already in your speakers. However, before we begin, there is one announcement that I would like to make in regards to mods that I have installed. It appears that some of them were causing the game to crash to desktop, which basically I managed to spot during the period since last episode. So I did some attempts to fix it, and I'm happy to announce that I succeeded. However, a mod list that was presented to you in first episode is no longer up to date. Well, it has been updated, in fact. So my recommendation is to have a look at this link once more. It will be posted in the links down below this video as well. And update your mod list to install everything that we might need to run this map properly. I've also updated the beginning save file, which is now uploaded to Steam. I did that today, shortly before recording this video. So mod list that is applied to this save game file is exactly the same as the mod list, or at least it should be exactly the same as the mod list that is required or that was presented by me in other link. So just download all the mods and get that save file if you want to start once more, or update your existing save file if you've already started with the new mods that needs to be installed. There's like 2 or 3 more mods in regards to trucks that needs to be applied in order to make everything work. Right, so as we got this bit out of our way, let's now switch into game window. So as you can see, we are following our faithful train in its journey to sawmill to cut those logs. So let's get out of this screen and let's see at our current map. As you can see, everything performs pretty well. Every single lane that we established is making profit, which is very good. We are making a lot of profits, we are making money, and now our bank stands at $2 million, or whatever the value is. I think it's in dollars at the moment. So as we are making some money, I will turn the date speed to a quarter, so we can progress with the dates as well. So now we need to make sure to expand our business once more. It is a good time, we got some money to do so. We are not exactly topped up on loan. We still can borrow 1 more million, which is good. So that gives us some finances to play with. So my idea is to get some tools production going, because that's the simplest business that we can establish, and there are plenty of opportunities around to do so. So we can establish tool production around sharing gum, which has pretty much everything that we need. We can go to just south of Barnet, where we got another good opportunity to establish such. We can always start producing tools just east of Carterton, and there is more than enough forestries, there is sawmill, and there is also a tools factory in there. So that is giving us some opportunities. However, all those places are pretty far away, perhaps maybe except Barnet, which can be established quite quickly and bring us some profit. There is not much else where we could do that. Whaley Bridge is another good place to start. As you can see, everything is in place. So there are business opportunities around here. However, we need to start building up infrastructure to deliver all those goods between all those towns. So my idea for today's episode is to establish passenger connection between Carterton and Seaton, if possible, obviously, so that we can get this stretch connected with rails. We can do that. Then in future episodes we can perhaps expand the business to the east and get that tools factory going. If we can establish that, we can then deliver tools all the way down to Seaton, which will further boost expansion of this town. And in fact, it is already expanded just because we've started to supply construction material. And such built-up city will give us a great boost for our future business investments. So I believe that it is a good course of action. However, we are going to need a lot of money for that. So let's begin. I will start in Carterton, where I'm going to try to establish a train station. And as I already got a line going pretty much south of town, I'm going to use that, and I will establish my train station somewhere along this road, and perhaps send a line along the river, go all the way around those hills, and end up in this nice spot right at the middle of Seaton, where this station would fit best. The biggest problem is that further expansion to the west will be very expensive, because I will have to cut through the town, which definitely means destruction of some buildings. As you can see, I got a high street station right in the middle. So if I will establish train station somewhere here, I will have to cut either through this bit or through this bit to make sure that my trains can get out of the town on the other side. So it's not gonna be that easy, but I believe we can succeed. Anyway, let's begin in Carterton. So I will start from deleting this road, and now I will establish train station. So I will use generic, standard train station for this purpose. I was obviously... Wait, larger cargo station, larger passenger station, larger passenger station. And now I would like to have perhaps large building, but a very short station. Why is that? Well, this station will definitely expand, and that's a main station for the city. Building style will be from era 1. Do I want to place platform roofs? No, I don't. Is there going to be a slope? No, there isn't. And the amount of tracks would be, I'd say 2, but it's gonna be expensive. So, I can probably put this station somewhere here. I'd be really, really happy. Let's see. Can I eventually get that on even ground? Not going to be easy, but I will do my best. If I could do perhaps... Oh, that's gonna cost me $300,000, but I will smack this station right in here. So that looks pretty good. Our currently existing track fits pretty well, I'd say. Is there anything I can do about it? In fact, yes, there is. So what I'm going to do is to pause the game and delete this bit of track. And now it's time to lay a new track that will accommodate this station. And how am I going to do that? I will configure this station. There's quite a lot of buildings, but I can sort that out. But there's platforms, passenger buildings, cargo buildings, miscellaneous. Wow, there's so much things. So I will use tracks from vanilla. Speed limit will be 60, but I just want to have a track in the middle. Why is that? Well, I need to have the right height for those tracks, and as soon as I laid them, I can leave the configuration screen, and now I can manually lay those tracks, extending them up until the end. And now I can select that I want them on even ground. Because station was laid on even ground, it should fit perfectly fine. There we go. So that's one way. And now let's extend it to the other way. Again, even ground, everything is nice and smooth. That's sorted. And now we can go back to configuration and delete that bit of track, which will also refund us some money. And finally, we can connect these two tracks together to create one stretch of tracks. So now everything is nice and smooth. We can reconnect the main line. There we go. And it's done. In fact, what I can do, I can fix this bit because it created a weird bump. So I will lay those tracks once more. There we go. It's nice and smooth now. And everything fits the station. So now that we have the station in here, we can think about the speed limit at the platform. because obviously these tracks have some nasty speed limits. I don't want to have 120 speed limits between the platforms, so I will use let's say 40 kilometers per hour tracks to limit the speed of trains that are coming through the platforms, if there is anything coming through them. Okay, so that is sorted, and now we need to think about how to connect it to the main line, or at least to this line. So on this side I will use 40 km per hour track once more. I'm going to extend it. How do I going to extend it? That's a good question. I'll start like that, going along these tracks. And perhaps join them here. That creates a nasty bump from what I can see. Do I like it? I do not. Right. That looks really awful. So perhaps I could get it a little bit smoother. But that looks better. That surely looks better. Question, is it good? Well, it is much better than it used to be. So I believe this will work. And I can also add another track if I want to. Question is, do I want to? At this moment, perhaps, yeah, I will do that. And do I want both of them, in fact? I don't think I need them both. However, that is a good question. Right, for now, I will delete this track. I will leave it ending like that. And now I'm going to extend these trackages to accommodate for the station. However, these needs to be 60. So I will create railroad crossing in here, which is going to be very useful, and station approach, which I need to update a little bit. I don't want all this bit to be... There we go. So this short bit right after railroad crossing is limited to 40 kilometers per hour, so trains can slow down. However, this bit already receives 60 kilometers per hour speed limit, which is in par with our plans. And now I will just connect it with the main line. Just like that. There we go. Everything is nice and smooth. Tracks are joining pretty well, even though one of these platforms won't be in use for now. Okay, that looks good. Now all this station needs is some sort of connection with the street. I will use medium street for that, which seems to be the most appropriate way to do it at the moment. So that looks pretty well. I will also connect it with the rest of the town, just like that. And as this is only a passenger station at the moment, I can eventually later on provide some bus stops. However, I won't be providing any cargo stops because I already have one, which is in range of this station. So if I will eventually decide to expand this station with a cargo stop, which I might do in the future, I will definitely use this cargo station to take all the cargo in and out. I can also plug in some bus or tram lines in this station, which I'm going to do very soon, because as you can see, there's not enough catchment area. But before I will do that, I would like to get some trains going on these tracks. Right, anyway, do I want to get this bit double tracked? That is a good question, and I don't know the answer. I believe I could get it double tracked, at least on this bit, because in here I don't need 2 tracks, but starting from here I might need them. So in fact I could delete that bit, begin with 60 kilometers per hour railroad, create this crossing, and then with a much lower speed limit of, let's say, 20, 40. I think I can limit those. Well, limiting those trucks to 20 would hurt me a lot. 40 seems to be appropriate. So if I could do that, this would eventually work. So I have access to both platforms and I can leave onto both platforms. Now I can use some signals. Question is which signal. I will use normal signals because they seem to be fitting best for that purpose. And before I will plug it, I need to have the way to join this platform. So, right, I will perhaps, what I can do with it? That is a good question. Nope. Trucks. Well, what I could do is to eventually build it like that, create additional track along these, get a bypass, can make it 60, not a problem. The problem is that if I want to remain consistent, that would have to end with 40 limit. Nah, this bit can be two-way, just like that. I just don't need any signals in here. I can eventually install a very low signal. That nah. Problem is that I only have light signals and they won't look good in 1859. So that is a huge problem. How am I supposed to do that? Nope. Nope. Right. I guess I will have to. Oh, what is that? Why do I not get any signals? That is weird. Okay, so those are signals. Yeah, I will have to use standard signals for that, because that is going to be two-way signal. It needs to let trains in or out. And same goes to the other direction. This signal needs to let trains in and out when there is something on this track. so I need to have it two-way. When it comes to this, there doesn't need to be a signal because nothing should be let in the first place onto this track. So I can create a two-way signal on this track as well. However, starting from this crossing, which is pretty much crossed like that, we will have one-way system for each track. We first need to build it though. So I will now introduce 60 km/h tracks in here, and we shall continue. How far shall we continue? That is a good question. I think that is a good point to divide this track from these tracks. There is a little bit of an approach to the station, so these trains can eventually split out. And there is also a bit of a tracks that are going both ways. So I will do it exactly like that, with one track splitting directly to the front. Can we just how do I do that? No. Oh, that doesn't look good. Right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to first build a tracks that are going front. Then I'm going to build a track that's going there. Now I can lower it. There we go. So that looks, well, maybe not the best, but definitely much better than it used to. Okay. That doesn't look even. I hate that. Right. I know it doesn't really matter, but it's like I really don't like to have those switches like in various different places. Anyway, they are now established. So now I can put one-way track in here with perhaps, what's the distance? Yeah, we need to start taking care of the distance. So I got this distance meter, or meter, or however you want to call it. And I would like to have a signal every 240 meters if I can. It might seem extensive, but there is a method in that madness, or to this madness, however you want to call it. Later on, it will definitely help me keep these tracks like at the correct lengths, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I keep messing up with the pronunciations, so it's my fault. Right, anyway, let's build up this bit of a track. I don't want it to be double tracked all the way, because we just don't need that. This train just needs to be like able to stop in either direction, so that we can have this crossing point as we've already built it. So this is one way, and this is one way. That is interesting. When we eventually introduce trains that can or like two trains on this track, there is always a crossing point in here where trains divide from the main line. They can hide in here, hopefully, and prevent them from blocking such main line. Anyway, everything goes good. Our money reserves are still quite high, so that is very, very good, and we are able to proceed even further. Right. So we got one way sorted, and now we need signals, yeah, the other way, so that we can introduce actual two-way system. Right, yeah, these are even. Now these, are they even? They are not. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, okay, that's the best I can do. Right, and I could put a signal here to have that clearance signal, so that trains coming from this one can like tell this truck, yeah, it's good to go. And the thing is that these trains would then enter the crossing without being able to clear it. I'm not sure about this solution, but waiting until trains go all the way down here is also not a good option, especially right now when everything is pretty darn, oh my goodness me, right, when everything is pretty darn slow. Right, and now construction is not possible. Are you kidding me? Okay, that works. Right, clumsy me decided to delete the whole track instead of deleting a signal that was poorly placed. Anyway, it is now sorted. We don't need any signals here. We will just use this train depot to deploy our first passenger train when the time will come. However, before that will happen, I will still need to build a tracks. So I will continue with 60-kilometer track with wooden supports, or yeah, how do you call them wooden thingies? Anyway, yeah, we are going to build such trucks anyway. Okay, so that is done. We now need to cross this road somehow. Question is, do we want to create level crossings? In fact, for building this, I could use my contour lines so that I can stay more or less on even ground. And that looks pretty good. So if I could cross the road in here, perhaps, how does that going to look? I think that's okay. If I can do that, there we go. Yeah, that looks pretty well. I could eventually delete that road and create a bit smoother transition, but I will worry about that later. So I can now go along this road. I need to go next to this forestry, and then I need to create a sharp turn going through this bit. And finally I'm gonna finish somewhere here, right in the middle of Seaton, which is our next stop. Okay. I'm not sure if building this as a double track all the way is going to be a best idea ever. What I might do is in fact create that bit. So we got a little bit of a double tracking, but the remainder of this road will not be double tracked yet. It will save me a lot of money, that's for sure. So I will do that. Now I can keep creating this line. Okay, it looks good. How does that look? Okay, I need to go this way. Yeah, we will go uphill slightly. Okay, that looks good. And that looks good, and now we need to turn it here. Okay, that still looks good. 35,000 per that small stretch of tracks. It's not bad. We can still keep on this side of the tracks, which is good. We are going uphill though. Do I want to go uphill? That is a good question. In fact, I don't think I want to go that high. Or maybe. Okay. For now, I will go. Oh. Yeah, I will definitely do that. I don't want any bridge to be built. There we go. That looks much better. I am still going uphill. Now I'm going downhill. Are you serious? Oh. Right. I will cancel that. I will eventually rebuild this bit. Starting perhaps from here. But I first need to place a train station. And I got an idea. Right, so let's turn off the counter lines. So how do I want to place my station? I think that a good way would be to place medium street right behind those buildings, just like that. Is that good? Yeah, that will be good enough, I guess. So let's place it like that. And now I obviously need to place a station building. And once more, I will place double-tracked large building right in the middle of that road. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's simple. My tracks... Oh, there we go. The town did exactly the job that I would have done later. So I can move the tracks a little bit further away to give myself a little bit of a space to play later. So the station is still connected to the road with those small pathways, but my tracks are lined up so they will go parallel to this small tiny road in here, which is very good. And as you can see, that greatly increased the range of my station, which reduces the need of any buses, because I just need to have a bus to perhaps get onto this road and maybe onto this road, and perhaps somewhere here I can connect these this bit with a road and create a bus stop later. Or I can wait for the city to do the job for me and save me a lot of money. Anyway, let's now remove this bit of tracks, because I need to find out where exactly I need to go. So let's build this track, and I will just directly... Oh! Construction not possible. Are you kidding me now? Oh, so you want to do that thing. I do not like that you want to do that thing. I know it would be best, but I was hoping that the game will help me to get the gradients right. But the game is unwilling to help me. Right. And it's going uphill, and I don't want it to go uphill. If I will just cut through, it's going to cost me quite a lot. If I will create a tunnel, it is going to cost me a lot. However, 320, 467. These are very expensive. 540, oh no. Yeah. So I can build a tunnel for 320. The question is, is that going to cut the deal? If I'm gonna do that, and then connect it here, that's 147, but the tracks are quite even, I'd say. With that one tunnel that actually fits this place, I can live with that. Yeah, let's do it. So we got just above 1 million in our pockets at the moment when we are finally connecting all the pieces together. It is expensive. It is definitely expensive, however, we managed to succeed. So let's carry on building our signals. This signal could use some flow and measurements. So I will place a signal parallel to this one, even though we don't need it. Or in fact, yeah, we do. We need a clearance signal anyway. But that will trigger my distance meter so that I can measure the correct distance. There we go. That works perfectly fine. And now 240 would be somewhere here. Maybe not exactly, but it works for me. And finally, wow, it's like it is super correctly measured. That's another 240. So I will take that. Now I can go all the way down here. I can leave this single bit of tracks. And perhaps that's the only place where I could use double tracking again. So right behind this tunnel I could use a double tracks. I will edit the station later to add proper speed track. So I want clearance signal, obviously, and I want a leave signal. There we go. And now that's going to be 128 meters. Not too long, but also not too short. So let me just edit those tracks. I want to have 40 kilometers track in here, and they need to be shortest possible. There we go. That's the shortest tracks we can get in this place. And obviously I can put signals right next to the road. We don't need to care about this road. If the train needs to stop on the road, it can do that. I'm totally fine with that. And well, perhaps people living in this city might not exactly be happy about this opportunity or this possibility that trains will block the road, but we can always fix it later. This is a standard track, however I want to use these with a 40 km/h speed limit, because I really don't want trains to go through the station with a high speed, at least not now. Right, and that's it. That looks pretty well. Obviously this road will have to deal with the trains passing and trains eventually stopping in the middle. This train will take a little bit of time to wait for that track clearance. However, by the time I will deploy another train, I might in fact decide to double track the whole line. For now I managed to double track this bit. And we got some new carriages because we just hit 1st January of 1860, which is giving me a little bit better rail cars for use with the locomotive. The biggest problem is that I first need to be able to afford some sort of locomotive, and I don't really have money for that. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, before we manage to establish the line and sort all those things up, I'm hoping to get enough money to actually be able to afford that. Right, so I will use platform 1. I don't need to use second platform on either station. So this is going to solve part of my issue. So let's just name it. So that's going to be rail passenger. There we go. And come on, you. That's this one. Okay, and that's going to be Carterton to Seaton, isn't it? Yes, it is. That is sorted. So we got our first passenger line. Rail cargo needs to avoid getting through the station. So we are going from Carterton. We need to add this signal. Is it? Yes, it is. Then we need to go from Carterton branch and add this signal, so that this train will always use this track, no matter what. Okay. Why am I doing this? Well, this train is the only train that will, at this moment at least, travel along this station. It doesn't need to block a platform or travel on that slow track which platform is connected to. I would prefer it to use 60 km/h track that was originally built for it. And that's the main and only reason why we are doing this. I can now also introduce some sort of public transport in Carterton, because the reach of our station is pretty poor, which would greatly reduce the amount of passengers we are getting. It is not a case in Seaton, because our station is basically catching entire town. Carterton, however, doesn't have that luck. So, as we are waiting for funds to build, I might in fact invest in some sort of public transport in here. So I don't need to have a massive bus tram stop, even though I could eventually build that thing. It would actually look pretty darn well. You know what? I might in fact do that. The question is, do I really need that just yet? I could do this, and I can use could use double bus stops. So those can go. So those can go both ways. Nah, not now. But I will definitely use that in the future. Right, so we got one basic bus stop. And now where those passengers needs to go? Well, definitely some of them might use these stops. Then some of them might decide to perhaps jump in here, and here. And perhaps on their way back from either direction, they might want to also stop here. So that is pretty nice loop in both directions that we can set up. We got 1.3 million, and we just need a handful of carts to deliver passengers. We will then see how those bus lines perform. So this is gonna be called bus, and this is going to be Carterton. Let's say clockwise. And then we will set up another line just immediately, and it's gonna be called bus Carterton counterclockwise, which is the simplest way I can describe those lines. When it comes to colors, I'm really struggling, but for clockwise lines I could go with that's a good question. If you have any suggestion about the color for each line, I'm more than happy to look into it. But I think I will go with. Oh dear, I'm terrible with colors. But that green looks. Oh, it looks very similar to this one. Perhaps dark green. Yeah, dark green looks good. And this one will take, for example, dark blue or something like that. Okay, so clockwise, let's add stations. So first station will be our South Street. And as we are going clockwise, Mill Road, New Road, King Street, Kingsway, the Drive, and back to South Street. And that is pretty much it. When it comes to counterclockwise, again, we are starting at the station. We are going through the Drive, Kingsway, King Street, New Road, Mill Road, and back to South Street, and everything is set up correctly. So we need perhaps 2. Okay, Kingsway seems to have some issue. Is it? Yeah, Kingsway seems to have some issue with the stop for some reason. And it says Terminal 2 for both stations. Why is it like that? Kingsway. Right, we will see. We shall see. Because this doesn't look good. Okay, I will deploy some buses, or rather passenger stagecoaches. There we go. I need 2 for each road, and they are going to have high maintenance because I don't want to scare off passengers. Right. Another 2 with a very high maintenance and counterclockwise line. There we go. So these are going to start moving around the town very, very soon. So we got 1.4 million approximately to eventually establish a train route between those 2 towns. And I'm not going to lie, it's not going to be easy. Oh yeah, it definitely is not. So let's think about what kind of train we could eventually buy or build. So we need a steam train that will be fast enough to eventually pull the thing off. Definitely it's not a fake loco, but perhaps Stevenson locomotives can do 52 km/h. So that's Planet, for example, Northumbian, yeah, the older one it is, yes, Stevenson locomotives 52, or Locomotion 040 32 kilometers, but that's very, very old. Yeah, they were pretty much deployed before the game started. That's 1829. Yeah, these were like 1830, so that's very, very early. These were from 1850, so that's early light express engine, Jenny Lind locomotive of E.B. Wilson. This thing can do 80, and this thing cost $700,000 with pretty good upkeep cost. So I'm really tempted to actually use those, or I could use LNWR, and this would be perhaps good choice. It can do 56. However, the problem is it's gonna cost me arm and a leg to upkeep, and it's gonna get really greatly limited. So it is hard choice. It is really hard choice. I will go for Jenny Lind, mostly because it's cheap. It has low power though, so it will definitely reduce the amount of coaches that I can attach to it. What's the difference? Oh, this gives lower emissions, so it's kind of obvious choice. So I will go with this one. Let's see, passenger cars. So these ones can hold only 4 or 5 guys. These ones can do 6. Yeah, that's 15, but that's out of the question. Or I can go with generic British carriages, 6-wheel, and build a proper train. These can hold 7 each. What's the weight of these? That's 8 tons each. That's 6 tons each. And these are 6 tons. Okay, so 1 ton per passenger in this case. That's, oh, these are heavy. These are really heavy. These are way overweight, and they can do only 40. That would limit my train way too much. So I could go with generic British carriages, 6 wheels or 4 wheels, and they would give me quite good exchange. That's a 6 passenger capacity and 72 kilometers per hour speed. I think we can go with them. So let's see. I will go with this design, those greener ones. So I will use one of those, 2 of those 3rd class. Oh, these are 6-wheelers, and I want those 2-wheelers. 4 wheels, 3rd class, there we go. And I want 2 of them. Then I would like to have 1 or 2 first classes. Let's see. Rear brake. Oh my goodness. That is really. Yeah, that is front, 3rd class. Okay. That is capacity of 30. So I will use 1, 2 of these, and then 1 of these, and that gives me 48 capacity with 2, 4, 6, 8 cars. Okay. However, that thing will cost me $2,739.88. Well, $2,739,080. Fucking hell. $2,739,880. There we go. Oh my goodness me. Right. So I need to give it a little bit of a time so I can make extra few quid. Let's just speed up time so that we can get this train into its destination. There we go. We can now pause the game and we can borrow 1 million, and now we can afford this train. There we go, and it can go on our rail passenger line. So we can now turn this off, start the game, and let's watch our first passenger train to roll out. Well, it will happen as soon as this train will clear off the tracks, which is something that I didn't took into account while sending this poor chap. So let's speed the game up and let's give this train time to leave this area. And I believe that this is a good moment to slowly start wrapping up this video. So I'm going to leave you guys with this train. We will observe its first route to its well, between the stations. So from now on I will just leave you with the game running for a bit, and we will observe this nice beautiful train as it's making its way towards its first destination. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to get informed about my new content, hit that notification bell button and don't forget to share your comments down below. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.